Hello everyone, Time to Grind here, and today I wanted to talk about Receiver 2. And Receiver 2 is the sequel to the original Receiver game, and I believe that was actually made in like a 7-day game jam, and it was this really cool, simulation game with some cool cryptic messages in it. And Receiver 2 is pretty much just the fully fledged version of it that's not just made in 7 days. And it's a very intense and a very difficult game, and it's a simulation type of game, and it has a lot of really weird and cryptic messages, and it kind of makes it a little bit difficult to explain, but I'm going to do my best at explaining it. And just full on disclaimer that I am extremely bad at this game, and on top of that, this game is really, really hard, but I'll explain more about that later. So you're kind of put into this world, and it's this spooky, randomly generated, area, and you're tasked with finding 5 tapes, and it says you gotta find and consume 5 tapes, and you have guns, and you start out with the revolver. But the cool thing about the game, though, is it's like a simulation in terms of the guns, and so it actually simulates supposedly every internal part of each of the firearms pretty realistically. So for every gun, you have to worry about a ton of things. You have to worry about the guns jamming or misfiring if you don't handle them properly. So you got to make sure to holster them and unholster them slowly, and you got to make sure that you don't leave guns in the mag when you holster it, because then you might fire it at your foot when you take it out of the holster. And so it's a lot to think about. And so just in terms of the guns, just loading them and unloading them and reloading them and making sure you're being safe with them is a huge part of the game, because it is the simulation aspect of it. And the enemies in the game aren't humans or monsters, and nothing's coming after you and attacking you besides maybe the drones, but really there's just turrets and these like drone things. And at first that seems kind of boring, and it's like, really, that that's kind of pointless, but somehow it manages to be pretty challenging, because it's not just you technically have all the time in the world, but you have to also worry about the handling the guns, making sure you're doing that safely, along with just experiencing the game as in general. And so for like the turrets, they scan an area and they'll fire if they if you go in their area, but it's as long as you can get behind cover that's actually something solid, like a wooden plank isn't going to give you cover, it'll just shoot through that. But if you can get cover, you'll be fine, and you just have to either shoot it in like their weak spots that will disable them or destroy them, or if you get close enough, you can actually hack them, and sometimes they'll drop bullets and stuff like that, for your guns and stuff. And so the main part of the game is going through these randomly generated environments and just trying to find 5 tapes, along with disabling or destroying the turrets along the way while handling your guns safely. And this game has storytelling, but it has a very interesting method of storytelling. And right off the bat, just, it tells you that, it kind of gives you a warning that it deals with, themes of depression and self-harm and suicide. And it is a very heavy game in terms of those themes. And so, kind of just, if that's something that, might trigger you or, something like that, the game is very, very heavy in its themes. And, for me, that made it interesting and intriguing, but also, kind of spooky, and, it made me self-reflect a lot. But it makes it very intriguing, and it tells the story in a non-linear way. So each tape you get gives you a little bit more information. So it's like, you have all these stories from different characters and stuff like that, and you get information, piece by piece, bit by bit, and you start to, in your head, piece together what is actually happening, what's happening in this world, what are the characters believing, and on top of that, it can also give you information on how the guns work, or strategies to how the best ways are to clear rooms, or how to make sure your guns, you're handling them properly. And so on top of giving you information about the story, it's also giving you information about the game, and theoretically it should be making you get better at the game. And on top of that, you can find notes as well that kind of do the same thing, just give you pieces of information on a wide variety of things. And something that is very interesting in this game, and part of the kind of story, is some of the tapes that you find, the people are like at the end of the ropes, and something called the mind kill makes you kill themselves. kill yourself. And like it's in this pretty spooky way. Whatever gun you have, it starts like turning, backwards until you eventually fire on yourself. And so if you're being safe and you're taking care of things, before I would pick up any tape, I would literally make sure that I unloaded my gun, that there were no bullets in my gun. That way, if I picked up a tape and it was trying to kill me, then I have no bullets in the gun and it just keeps firing blanks on me and I'm okay. And so, there's all of these themes with the mind kill and the receivers and stuff like that. And it's this very cryptic game that you slowly start getting more and more information on. And, you don't know, pretty much anything. It's just very confusing. You don't know what it means to be awakened. You don't know, what it means to be the receiver and stuff like that. And, just kind of not trying to spoil too much, it kind of seems like there's these themes of like, well, there's this huge conspiracy and, the media is hiding things from people. And there's these people that, want to go against that. And then, they're getting ready to fight the mind kill, and the mind kill is making people kill themselves and you don't know what it is. And like I said, it's a very cryptic game, but you slowly start getting, piece by piece more information of what is happening. And so when you finally get 5 tapes in one life without dying to turrets or dying to fall damage or misfiring the gun or shooting yourself because you got a, depressing tape or getting by the, mind kill, you like rank up and you level up. And when you level up, the game gets harder and you're on this whole new level. You get new weapons, the more you level up. And so not only do you have to figure out just what the weapons are, how good are they, you have to learn how to use them because they keep getting more and more complicated because, like I said, we're simulating every single part of the gun. And so on top of just having to learn how to load it and unload it so you can, kill turrets and stuff with, you have to learn how to use them safely. You got to figure out if they have any misfiring things that they're going to do, if they have any mistakes that you can make with the gun that'll end up killing you, and you just have to learn that. And I think that's really cool. It's a really cool aspect of the game. It's definitely a selling point. If you just look at the store page, that's pretty much all that the game tells you about. It kind of doesn't necessarily tell you about the whole story aspect of it until you kind of get in the game yourself. And the problem with this game is the game has a massive, massive flaw to it, at least in my opinion. And the game is really hard and the game is really difficult until you learn it, and that's fair. I'm not angry that the game is, too hard or anything like that. However, whenever you die, you go back a complete level. So it took me almost 2 hours, partly because I was bad at the game and, partly because the game is just genuinely hard. It took me about 2 hours to finally get good enough to get to level 2. And then within 10 minutes, I died and I got sent back to level 1. So, obviously I'm getting better, but the game is randomly generated. So it's not like I can just go through this, world again really fast because I remembered everything. Ideally I should get to level 2 faster than I did previously because I'm just better at the game, but that's a lot of time wasted. But, even just that, if they want to be super hard and every time you die, you go back a level, that's fair. But on top of that, whenever you quit the game, you go back a level. So you could spend 2 hours getting to level 3. You finally get to level 3 and you're like, oh man, I'm good. I just got to level 3. I want to stop playing right now. I want to quit while I'm ahead. Sends you back an entire level whenever you quit. And that's just a huge spit in the face. It's like, if you're not going to keep just sitting down and playing me for hours and hours and hours, we're going to punish you. And, I think part of the reason why it's doing that is potentially to increase its, replayability value, because this is a randomly generated game where you're finding more, information here and there, and, you're getting good at the game. And, overall, I do think this game has a lot of replayability value, so I don't think it needs to do that, but I think it either might be needing to do that, or it's just trying to be real immersive. You're not as enlightened, because if you stop playing, you're going to forget what you were doing and stuff like that. So I think it's partly trying to do that as well. But either way, in terms of just a gameplay sense, that is totally not okay in my opinion. You shouldn't punish someone for wanting to stop playing the game. And so on top of it being really, really hard, you can't get as far, and when you finally do get as far, you can just immediately get sent back, and that doesn't feel very good at all. So, disclaimer, I didn't even really get to make it yet to some of the higher levels, because, every time I quit, I got sent back a level, and I'm bad. I'm not just, trying to blame everything else on that. But overall, the more you level up, the game gets harder. There's, maybe a little bit, the drones, I think, come later besides just the turrets, and, you have to learn the new weapons. And on top of that, every time you level up, there's new parts of the tapes and the stories you can learn about. But overall, the game, once you kind of first play through the couple levels, you kind of understand what the general feel of the game is going to be. So I haven't, gone through all the content. I'm going to keep playing it because I do genuinely enjoy this game. Just the whole, jumping you back entire levels every time you die or quit is a little off-putting, and it makes it hard to, access all of the content in a timely manner. But either way, I did enjoy this game. It is very unique. The simulation aspect of it is really cool. The gunplay is pretty smooth. It's a very polished game. The atmosphere itself is very chilling, and it's a very heavy tones, and it's interesting. And it really just, you got to make sure you know what you're getting into when you play this game, especially with the themes and stuff like that. But I really enjoyed it. If this sounds like the type of game that you would be interested in, I would definitely recommend you check it out. But if you've played this game, or if you've played the original Receiver, let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to, hear your guys' thoughts on it all and everything like that. And if you enjoyed this video, then consider leaving a like down below and subscribing to see more content. New videos come out about twice a week. And on top of that, if you want even more goodness, the episode 6 of Media Crash just came out at the same time this video came out. We're talking about the young adult genre and just our experiences with that. So, check that out after this video. And on top of that, feel free to follow me on Twitter. I just tweet about, what games I'm playing and, all that good stuff. But if you guys are having a great day today, I hope you continue having a great day. If you guys aren't having a great day, I hope you guys start having a great day. But either way, guys, I hope you guys have a great rest of the day. See you guys next time.